wrote about this lovely little potato here. It's called an Amflora potato. It's nothing like a russet or an Idaho potato. This potato produces a very starchy substance that is used to make the glue that glues together fiberboard. Well, guess what Dr. Pasillo found in pet food and pet treats? This potato. And this is what he wrote. So now you know why those dog treats that seem like they're plastic, it's got Amflora potatoes in them. These are not potatoes that should be consumed. But nobody catches them, they get away with them. This is a list from one pet food company. This is a list, 9 different pet foods. And there's quite a variety: kitten, a salmon, a lamb, a sensitive stomach. Now you should know that pet food ingredients are listed on a label in order of pre-cooking weight, heaviest to lightest. So the first 4 or 5 ingredients make up, by weight, the vast majority of the pet food. So all of these different types of foods, this is the ingredients in all of these foods. They're almost identical. There was a lamb, there was a salmon, there was a kitten, there was a salmon formula. But the greatest majority of the food, these ingredients are close to identical. This is what pet owners have to deal with. Pet food regulations also say that if the manufacturer didn't add the ingredient to the food, they don't have to list it on the label. And a prime example of this is a fish meal or fish oil, sometimes chicken meal. A meal ingredient means moisture removed. Any meat is up to 70% moisture. So in that list of pet food ingredients, if the first ingredient is chicken, 70% of that is basically moisture, useless nutrition of what we're wanting in pet food. If the first ingredient is chicken meal, moisture removed, that's solid protein. Well, but fish meal, it is Homeland Security law. Fish meal is prepared on ships while the fishermen are out at sea. It's left over from filleting the fish, but there's a lot of good stuff in there that can go into pet food. It's ground up, but it becomes very combustible. So something has to be put on it to keep it from exploding as it comes into port. Homeland Security law says that ethoxyquin, or they can use a natural alternative. Ethoxyquin is a very personal thing to me. This ingredient is what got me started in this. Ethoxyquin killed my dog. It is linked to very, very serious illnesses, including bone cancer. My dog, 20 years ago, got bone cancer, and my veterinarian knew more than most. He went to school with Dr. Wysong of Wysong Pet Foods, and Dr. Wysong has been a pioneer for many, many different years in moving pet food forward. Ethoxyquin was the preservative in my dog's pet food. I called the company. This was the leading pet food, still one of the top 5. I called the company at the time. My vet, Dr. Catlett, said they use ethoxyquin to extend the shelf life. And I really didn't even know what shelf life was at the time. But, okay, and I called the company, and they told me the shelf life of this particular dog food was 25 years. That's more than 3 times longer than my dog lived. Ethoxyquin is not used to preserve a food. Rarely, some treats have it in it. It is only allowed today. It is only allowed in human foods in the tiniest of portions in some spices. But it's in many fish meal ingredients without pet owners' knowledge. They're not told this. It's one of those questions that you have to ask. Pet food companies don't like to answer these kind of tough questions. Many of them have come back to us. I have a whole team of secret shoppers across the country because the pet food companies won't answer me anymore. I'm the troublemaker. So I have a team of secret shoppers that send out my questions for me. Some of them try to tell pet owners, we have to have guns. Well, no, they don't. They don't have to. Many others use natural preservatives in their fisheries. So this is what pet owners are up against. Okay? Pet food names and ingredients that don't match. Pet food labels that can lie. Pet food ingredients that violate federal law. And risk ingredients that are not on the label. And we really need you all. You all have the power. There was a Blue Buffalo recall last Friday. I firmly believe if it wasn't for veterinarians, this food would still be making dogs sick. Univ first reported it at the end of August, and this was a first for a veterinary organization to publicly point at a pet food, make the link between sick dogs and a pet food. To do this publicly, about a month later, Michigan State University backing up on it publicly. The next day after Michigan State made that announcement, the food was recalled. I'm confident this would not have happened if these two veterinary organizations would not have done something. You all have so much power to change the future. You really do. And make all animal feed, cattle feed, chicken food, all of that. If we're consuming meat, it's a concern that these animals are eating illegal ingredients and garbage. They're illegal for a reason. So I have to go back to my million-dollar question, the robbing the bank question. The question I'll leave you with is, now with what you know about pet food, do some commercial pet foods steal their no punishment millions at the expense of pet health? And I'll take questions.